Can you believe it? I've come downstairs today to pack some worms for some orders, and I found all this dirt all around the bottom of my makeshift worm farm. And on closer inspection, I find this big hole chewed out right through the base of the rim and through the base of the pot. So the rats have been at it. I'll never get that in the Compot, fortunately. But let's have a look inside here and just see if they've managed to decimate the worms inside. I'll bring this light up. I looked at it the other day before I saw the hole, and I added some cardboard because there was no food left. Well, something's going on because I didn't put all that dirt on top. Oh, can you believe? Oh, I think they've eaten all my worms. A good part of them. I had this bit of fly screen down the bottom to stop the worms escaping, but you can see the rats have chewed through that completely. Well, fortunately I've still got some worms in there. But I can see I don't have a lot. So I've dismantled this pot, and I've made big piles here of all the usable contents with the worms in them, and there's the old fly screen that's all eaten away, probably a bit by the worms as well. And in the bottom I had this gravel to try and keep the worms from going out through the holes in the bottom, but obviously hasn't been very successful. There were a lot of worms in that gravel, and I tell you what, it stinks down the bottom of here. And there's some cardboard. I must have put some cardboard in the bottom there too. You can see that cardboard's gone all black as it's rotting away. So I'm going to give this system up. It's a bit too hard to manage. I've just sorted through that whole big pile of worm poo out of that big pot, and those Rascal Rats definitely decimated my worms. This is all I was able to get out of there. It's not enough. So anyway, there they go. They'll go in there, a part order. And what's terrible though is so when you shred envelopes, you get all this plastic left over from the envelopes, and that's what came out of just that small pile of dirt. So I'll soak that in water, let it sit overnight to get all the dirt off all the plastic. Then I'll put it through a strainer and all the plastic will be clean. I can throw it in the bin then and put the water onto my garden. It'll be a bit like worm tea. So this is another one of my worm farms, and I've got this plastic container with a Compot inside it, and this was absolutely going great guns until I forgot to feed it. So let's have a look inside here and see if we can't see what's in here. And I added some cardboard the other day because I didn't have any food scraps. And I put a lot of paper in here, so here's some paper that still is yet to, when I say paper, paper toweling from the kitchen. So this is a little bit different in your garden because it hasn't got anywhere to go. It's stuck in the pot, obviously. Now, but it has produced, look at that beautiful soil. And that's what you should get in your Compot out in the garden. Oh, the little salators are running everywhere. They won't want to go too far or they'll be food for the toads that are hiding under this house. So let's pull this out and see what we can find in the bottom. I've probably got no worms. Oh, I've got some worms left in here. Here we go. They're all hiding underneath there. So I'll be able to get a few worms out of here, and I think I'll have to get the rest out from outside. But not enough. This has actually been chock-a-block with worms before, but worms are self-regulating. If there's nothing for them to eat, they will eat each other. So there's a few in there, but I don't think there's going to be enough. And I've got these bits of cardboard in here. But really the cardboard needs to be wet. I probably wet it, but it's dried out because it's outside and it's a bit dry. I've also got this grass clippings which I put around the side, and if I'm good and that's nice and wet, that will all break down, but it's as dry as a bone, so the worms really won't eat that, which is a shame. It hasn't broken down at all. But out in your garden with the rain, and when you water your garden, it will break down beautifully to beautiful, beautiful soil. Anyway, I'll clean this one out and start again, because I quite like this because it's handy. I can just top it up with the pot inside there. Makes it really easy to toss everything in. I've just got to remember to do it. And I don't always put just worm-friendly food in there. I sometimes put everything in there. But you can see over time, even with what I do with extra water and everything, it eventually breaks down. The worms will eventually take care of it. I decided to not put all those grass clippings back around here. I put a whole bunch of wet cardboard under the bottom of this that I had from the other pot. And I put the pot back in there. There's a little bit of grass clippings in there, and then I've almost shredded my recently shredded paper. I'm putting around the sides of the pot, wet of course, because the worms like wet. And I have to confess that I probably don't put as much water when I put my scraps inside this pot, because there's no drainage in this system and I don't want the worms to drown. But you have to keep it moist though, or they'll die. And that's probably why there wasn't many worms in this batch. They'd run out of food and they'd run out of moisture. So there's a very, very small quantity of worms left here. See there? So I'm going to put them back in here, and I'll go and get some food and put some nice worm-friendly food in there for them and start breeding them up again. But there you go. So even if you're using your Compot in the garden for worm-friendly food, you do have to keep filling it up with worm-friendly food or they will go somewhere else.
Thanks for watching.